Zildjian offers a wide range of thin crashes with different hammering and different lathing to produce different tonal characteristics. Let's really jump into a ton of sound samples and details on the construction of three very different K cymbals: the sweet crash, the Constantinople, and the custom special dry. Let's start off to my right with the K custom special dry. I've actually had this cymbal for a while and I've been using it as part of a stack. Now, as you can see, it's got a very unfinished look to it. It's because the top of it is not fully lathed, although underneath it is fully lathed. There's also three different types of hammering going on in this cymbal, so there's a lot of work to get it to this point. As you can hear, it's got an extremely trashy sound. Now, generally, this is not the type of crash that I would go for, though, like I said, it has been interesting on my stack. Of the three, this should be the driest cymbal with a short sustain and a very low stick definition. Next up is the K Zildjian Sweet Crash with a weight very similar to the Special Dry. You can see it has an unlathed bell similar to the Special Dry, although the rest of the cymbal is lathed. The hammering on it is what you would see on a traditional K crash, and Zildjian boasts this cymbal as having a fast attack and a sweeter sound than your normal K. Compared to the Special Dry, the Sweet Crash should be a little bit brighter and far less dry. Finally, we make our way to the K Constantinople Crash. Say that 3 times fast. This cymbal is a little bit heavier than the others, but it's still considered a thin. Now, this is actually one of Zildjian's throwback cymbals, which is they're kind of recreating a cymbal that they used to make back in the 1960s, but they're doing some modernization to it. You'll notice three very distinct characteristics on this crash. First, there's an additional pin lathing done on the top and bottom. The bell on this crash is a little bit smaller than the other bells. And then the hammering. So the strikes are actually quite wide. They're getting down a little bit deep. They're not nearly as deep as some of the marks on the Special Dry, but they're probably a medium depth, quite wide. Zildjian boasts these cymbals as having a complex sound with dark overtones. With that heavier weight amongst the three, I'm expecting this cymbal to be the highest pitch. And Zildjian also says that this cymbal should have the most stick definition. A quick note on the recording setup before we get to the sound samples. So I'm going to be using a pair of Earthwork omnidirectional microphones that's going through an A-Design specific preamp. Once in the computer, I'm not doing any EQ or compression on those tracks, just some time and phase correction, but my other tracks will have additional processing. So my initial thoughts on these cymbals, no surprise, the special dry was my least favorite of the bunch. I'll probably stick with using that on my stack. The sweet crash, I thought did really, really well when I was choking. I don't know how often I am choking cymbals, but for what it's worth, it seemed to shine really well on that. The Constantinople, no surprise, it was the highest pitch. I think it had a lot more characteristics than the sweet. The sweet had a very minimal amount of overtones going on. So this was definitely more complex. This would, if you were recording and the drums are supposed to be more prominent, this or an A, the Constantinople or an A would definitely do you a little bit better. If the drums are more of a backing track and it's supposed to be sitting way down in the mix, the sweet crash I think would do a lot better in that situation. I do have more cymbal reviews and stick and drumhead reviews coming out, so if you don't want to miss out, then hit subscribe right over here or down below. And while you're waiting, check out this video.